The phenomenal rise in population, number and size of our cities over the past few years have manifested in the acute shortage of housing, with a negative effect of overcrowding, high rent, poor urban living conditions and low infrastructure services. Various programs have been implemented over the years to address the housing challenges faced in the country, but what visible results have we achieved so far? This is Housing Development, your go-to source for trending housing information in Nigeria. Stay tuned as we discuss housing and all that concerns it right after the trending news flash. I am your housing diva, Flora. Stay tuned.
Fraudsters are exploiting the desperation of prospective homeowners and tenants to have roofs over their heads and secure cheaper accommodation to defraud victims. There has been an upswing in the fraud schemes since the coming of online platforms and money transfer in the banking sector. The social media has been badly hit as different groups have been created to fleece members. Most victims have been tricked to wire down payments to account for pending real estate transactions. The common cases involve tenants paying for rental apartments without taking possession of the property. Such matters abound with security agencies, and over 200 million naira may have been lost in that process yearly. Most of these fraudsters use known property platforms on the internet and social media to perpetrate their crime. Board of Directors of the African Development Bank has approved its third equity investment of $40 million in Africa Infrastructure Investment Fund, a close-ended Pan-African infrastructure fund managed by South African-based African infrastructure managers. The proposal represents the bank's third investment with this fund manager, following the 1996 investment in SAIF and the 2010 investment in AIFF2. With this, the African Development Bank stands to have a positive additional role through this investment, given that the fundraising market continues to be very challenging, leaving an important role to be played by DFIs. The current glut in the property market is hindering politicians from disposing some of their properties to fund their political ambitions in the 2019 general elections, investigations have shown. It is a common practice for politicians to sell off their properties few months before elections to fund their campaigns, but the 2019 general election may be different given the current scenario in the property market. Members of the Plant and Equipment Faculty of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers have advocated the review of the 11-year-old Mineral Act and implementation of the roadmap for the development of the solid mineral sector of the economy. They made call the end of the 4-day international conference on mineral asset valuation and financing, organized by the institution in Minna, Niger State, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development and the Bank of Industry. The stakeholders also sought urgent attention to the infrastructure challenges in the evacuation of minerals from mine sites and harmonization of taxes on mining operators, as well as removal of multiple taxation.
To read the full details of the news, visit www.housingnews.org.ng, your 24/7 latest housing news portal for up-to-date housing information. The federal government, through the Family Homes Fund, is set to commission the first batch of 600 homes recently completed in Luvu Madaki, Nasarawa State. The senior special assistant to the President on Infrastructure, Ime Okon, led a team on a tour of inspection to the site. Here is a report.
In its quest to tackle housing challenges in Nigeria, The federal government, through the Family Homes Fund, is set to commission the first batch of 600 homes recently completed in Luvu-Madaki, Nasarawa State. Speaking during a tour of inspection of the project, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Infrastructure, Ime Okon, disclosed that she was on the tour of inspection to see the level and completion status of the project.
The federal government has invested in this with the private sector to be able to provide affordable, social housing to the low-income earners. So we just came to see the progress and to see if we can bring the Vice President to commission the houses. The buildings have been completed, and as you saw yourself, you saw some people already living inside it. So we're just going to see, trying to make most of the common areas very, presentable for the people that live in here to, stay and be able to enjoy the environment. Everything is ready as far as we're concerned. There's water, there's light.
She reiterated the fact that the present administration is working to give hope to Nigerians who desire to own a home.
The administration of President Buhari cares about the poor, and that is why this is a key concern for him, to make sure that people that are 30,000 is not much, you know it, but you are able to own your own house if you're ready to put, as little as 1/3 of that on the table to be able to get mortgage to have these houses. So this is just one site. We have several across Nigeria. So even if we're starting with Nasarawa right now, we have ready in Ogun, we have in Delta, and we have in Kano. So what we've done here today, we're still going to go around those sites that are ready to see the readiness, to also make, to publicize it for Nigerians to know that we have similar projects in other states. And then the tail end is to have it in all the 36 states, as many as we can, as we have affordable land to be able to build this kind of houses on them. So it's going to go everywhere, not just people close to Abuja.
The managing director of Millard Fuller Foundation, the project contractor, explains the categories of the house types available.
On this site, we have studio apartments, we have 1-bedroom apartments and 2-bedroom apartments. There are 1 or 2 3-bedroom apartments, but we find that most people at that sort of level will only be able to afford about 2 bedrooms.
The tour of inspection was led by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Infrastructure, Ime Okon, officials from the Office of the Head of Service, Federal Integrated Staff House and Fish, and officials of the Family Homes Fund. Family Homes Fund, an initiative of the federal government, is aimed at facilitating affordable housing delivery by entering into specific partnerships with supportive state governments, developers, and international partners or agencies that can provide technical support and financing for project implementation.
From the tour of the inspection, you can see that the houses are completed with water, light, and other basic amenities in place. To get a house from the Family Homes Fund housing project, call the numbers on your TV screen. Right after this time out, the President of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, REDAN, will be joining me. Stay tuned. Before the break, I did say the President of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria will be joining me. He's right here with me in the studio. Savio Gochukuchime, good to have you join me.
Thank you so much, Flora.
You've been the President of REDAN for the past 3 years. Now, what has been your achievement for REDAN? What's the progress report like?
What we've been able to do for REDAN was to identify the fact that the majority of the people did not know why REDAN has to be in existence. But the reality was that there was nothing on ground since a lot of the government effort at housing development and individual efforts could no more provide a sufficient amount of houses. That's why we now have the 17 million housing deficit. We're able to engage with Central Bank, World Bank, to get data. If we say 17 million housing deficit, do we really have 17 million housing deficit? Are there empirical evidence to substantiate that? So what we did with Central Bank, World Bank, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, NMRC, was to have what we call Nigerian Real Estate Data Collation and Management Program. So we are having a multidimensional focus on land data, land administration data with the 37 land administrating entities in Nigeria. We're also having data on affordability. We're also having data on housing condition survey. And we're also having data on business. Who are the organizations that are in business in any particular state? Do you have the primary mortgage banks across the country? No, you don't have them. Some states don't even have one branch of a mortgage bank. Do you have developers? Some states don't have even developers. So we need to get these four sets of data. That is what we've done with them. We've been also been able to fine-tune some of the issues and relationships we have had with organizations so that we can create a mutually beneficial platform with them. It's not about what they will give to us as developers. It's about what services can we give on a sustainable basis. We also try to do so many other things, including trying to have a secretariat building for ourselves, so that at the end of the day, we cannot be building houses for people and REDAN as an organization is really living, staying in a rented apartment.
Now, while speaking, you mentioned building a REDAN house. How do you intend to actualize this project?
Oh, it's something that is a vision that I had, that I must leave that for my successor to stay in our own apartment. And what we did was to first of all acquire land. And by the special grace of God, we've gotten land at APDC Estate, Abuja Property Development Company Estate in Kubwa. A sizable piece of land where we intend to develop something on 4 floors that will have a wing for REDAN office, and then we'll have a commercial wing that will be getting money on a sustainable basis to take care of our recurrent and overhead expenditure. That is what we intend to have. And as of today, the first time we mentioned it within the confines of the ESCO, we're able to raise over 67 million naira among the ESCO members alone. They made a commitment. We spread it out over 24 months, that somebody can be giving 50,000 naira every month as a developer. That comes to 1.2 million naira in 2 years. So we've had tremendous goodwill. I didn't know that a lot of people were committed. What they were waiting for was the correct leadership that is sacrificial, that is visionary, that understands where we need to go, and they will follow. So my colleagues have been very, very awesome and wonderful. So we have gotten the land. We've taken possession of the land, and we'll soon be doing the launch, and the launch will take place right here in Abuja.
When is the REDAN House luncheon coming up? The venue, the date for this event?
The REDAN House luncheon will take place on the 11th of December 2018 at ICC International Conference Center, Central Area, Abuja, by 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And we are using this opportunity to invite all lovers of affordable housing to come around and see how far REDAN have gone and what we intend to do. And we ask you to note that it will be jam-packed with a lot of people. It's under the distinguished chairmanship of Dr. Aliyu of Urban Shelter. He's a man who have raised up children, biological and non-biological, who are leaders in the housing industry. And we have chosen him not only for the sake of whatever money we get, but for the sake of the fact that he's an icon of the industry. And we look forward to seeing all of us come around and support this laudable project that will live for posterity.
I understand that some of the halls in the REDAN House will be named after some personalities, some organization. What's the criteria for this?
What we're trying to do is this. Over the time, our society have failed to recognize people who have made contributions. So what we have decided to do is that we are going to name the hall either in the name of the company or the CEO of the organization that support this laudable venture. We have about 6 halls there. So the top 6 donors will have these halls named after them in perpetuity. Thank you,
Savio Ugochukwu-Chime, for your time on the program. Have been speaking with the President of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Savio Ugochukwu-Chime. The launching of the REDAN House building will take place on the 11th of December at the Executive Hall of the International Conference Center, Abuja, Nigeria. Don't miss it. Welcome back. Every household generates waste or garbage which should not be thrown anywhere and everywhere, but only in trash bin. Waste poses a threat to public health and environment if not stored, collected and disposed of properly. How do you dispose your waste? That is across on Housing Matters today.
We take care of the garbage, though there are some people that come around to collect it, we pay them. Some of them used to dispose it maybe to a nearby bush or something of that nature, if there is bush around there. But actually, I don't know the spots, but I know it's not far from maybe the environment, not so far, because there's no special place provided by the government to dump refuse, to my knowledge, where I'm saying. So I guess it's maybe around there, there's bush or something.
It's not something you can pay, you can carry it yourself, apart from giving to environmental. If by peradventure the environmental people could not come, the best thing is to go to a far place, a nearby, give to all these houses, look for them and ensure that you give them some money. They'll carry it far away to a place that they used to dump, that is far away from people or where people are staying.
To collect garbage in my area, normally we see few of them that come to our area to collect, and it takes long before coming. So we need the government to at least employ more people that they will collect garbage in the areas. We have Babambola that normally come around and then to collect the bola, and we pay them a little token that it normally comes around to collect. They always, at least, they are helping us. By doing that, they are helping us.
When my garbage the dustbin gets full, what I personally do is we have where we take them to, just not far away from where we live. It's in an open field where after some time fire is put on them for them to get burned. So that's how we dispose our own garbage.
Well, my name is Architect Ahmed Dengiwa, Federal Mortgage Bank MD, and I want all Nigerians to be watching this program.
A healthy environment is a key to a healthy economy. All right, that said, if you're thinking of where to get a luxurious house in a serene environment with a flexible payment plan, then check out Urban Shelter Limited, a foremost real estate development company with a good track record.
Urban Shelter is actually a property development company. We are into real estate, to be precise. And this is the business that we have been doing for over 2 decades now, going to 3 decades. We're into development of property and selling it to the general public, and also trying to assist the country in which we find ourselves in bridging the gap in housing deficit in Nigeria. At a time when the organization took that decision to say we want to go into a project called Brick City, it was like the location was just like a bush. But today, if you go to that location, you will notice that it has been developed into a full-fledged city with over 2,000 housing units, as far running in different clusters and phases. We've done phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, where there are even still ongoing projects as far as that place is concerned. If you also go to locations like Katampe, where we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. At the time when we got there was practically no development there. We actually brought development into Katampe. So part of our own, strategy and proposition is to ensure that each locations we go to, we, provide necessary infrastructures like the road, the water, the light, and what have you, without necessarily having to wait for government to make those provisions. Well, our payment plan is very, very flexible. We also recognize the fact that fingers are not equal. So we have provisions for instrumental payments. And of recent, when we also discovered that we have a number of clients looking for longer period, we came up with a scheme that we call 5-year payment plan. And that scheme is such that once you complete payment, even after year 2, you can actually move in and take possession of your house while you complete the balance of your payment while you are already living inside the house.
With Urban Shelter Limited, your dream of owning a home will become a reality. Call the numbers showing on your TV screen to get started.
My name is Dorothy Baziwe, and I encourage you all to keep on watching the Housing Development Program. Thank you.
You're watching Housing Development. It is campaign time in Nigeria. It is time for the electorate to begin to ask the presidential candidate their agenda in the area of housing. Who is that presidential candidate that is interested in looking into the Land Use Act? Who is that presidential candidate that is interested in looking into foreclosure law? Who is that presidential candidate that is talking about strengthening our mortgage system? Who is interested in housing Nigerians? Ask the presidential candidate as an electorate the agenda for housing. Housing for all should be the topmost priority. Begin now to ask questions for a better housing sector tomorrow. Do you know that attending the 13th Abuja International Housing Show deserves to be in your 2019 budget plan as an organization? Because your participation will give you value for money as you get the opportunity to introduce new products and meet the right buyers. Testimonies from attendees and exhibitors have confirmed that there is no other platform in Nigeria that brings together people from different political divides, background, professionals from the housing and construction sector to come together and chart a new course for the housing sector. Now here is a recap of the 2018 Abuja International Housing Show.
Past 12 years, we're told, they've been so resilient, they've been so persistent, they've been so focused. The number of people that even came, the number of countries that are participating, and today you can see the synergy, you can see the people who are coming to look at all those exhibiting, and you see the project that we have. My expectation is that this year is actually showing that it's better than last year. This year, the synergy that we are going to build, that this show is building, is also going to propel into a greater year next year.
It's my first time coming to this particular show, but it has not been as elaborate as this. But I've been to so many exhibitions across the world, both in Malaysia and Singapore, and I was amazed when I came here and saw what is happening here. For those who did not come, I pitied them, especially those in the built environment, construction industry. They needed to come here and see what is happening in the housing industry.
The 12th Abuja International Housing Conference, Housing Show and Exhibition is one of the things that contributes to economic activity, in the sense that you have manufacturers, professionals, vendors, all gathered in one place. We also think of solutions to the housing needs of Nigeria. So I think it's an event that everybody would want to attend. I'm glad to be part of this, and I'm glad to have declared this open. We have done this before, and what gladdens my heart is almost 80% of the people that are attending this show today, I've met them in other places across the world. I've met them in Florida in February. I met them in Washington last month. That means there is a concerted effort by each and every player in the housing industry to put hands together to find out what is happening in other climes in the world, come back to Nigeria and put SAVE into practice. So that is a very big step for us in solving our housing problems in this country.
To be part of 13th Abuja International Housing Show, visit www.abujainternationalhousingshow.com for more details. Thanks for watching. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles for up-to-date housing information. You can also watch this episode and previous ones on the YouTube channel Housing TV Africa. I remain Flora, your housing diva.